What's up? I'm TheShoogyShoo, and welcome to the Bayou 22 podcast. This week, we are talking about the Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse spoiler talk. As always, it is me and my pal Nate, also known as Infinite Repeat, just talking it up. And be sure to check out his channel for not only spectacular videos, but also other episodes of this podcast. Last time we talked about the Guardians trilogy. So without further ado...
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Bayou 22 podcast. I'm TheShoogyShoo and I'm joined by Nate. What's up, Nate?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How you doing? This is also Infinite Repeat for y'all that don't know. Be sure to go see his channel. We got, what we have over there? We have the Guardians of the Galaxy podcast, right?
Yeah, and we did Ant-Man, the first episode on yours.
Yeah. So far, it's been a lot of superhero stuff. Eventually, we'll probably figure out something that's not superheroes, but they're just cool topics to talk about. Especially, I don't know how excited you were for Across the Spider-Verse, but honestly, it was probably like my most anticipated film of the entire year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I loved Into the Spider-Verse. Like, I've watched that movie like so many times, and yeah, that was one of the best like animated movies. I just wish we get more. I honestly just wish we get more superhero animated movies. I know we're never gonna stop making superhero movies, but like it'd be nice to get like just superhero movies that are animated every once in a while, like actually animated, not just 90% CGI.
Yeah, I know that they always do like, or I know specifically DC always does like those like straight to DVD animated movies, which I honestly kind of
Yeah.
wonder like, do a lot of people even really watch those? Like, I never know when they're coming out or anything, but I mean, I'm not really looking for them.
I mean, I watch those movies like every once in a while. Like I have some saved on like HBO Max that I've been meaning to watch, but I think they don't really advertise them is the thing. Like you might like I think I follow like DC Comics on YouTube, so I see them pop up, but like they don't really
Yeah,
advertise those at all.
I think there's a big stigma still that cartoons are only for kids. I mean, I wouldn't even like it's cartoon and just animated film. I guess into a big thing, but yeah, I totally agree. Into the Spider Verse, I've seen that movie too many times. Like, it is my second favorite film of all time, and one of my classes, I every day all I had to do was just do something on my computer, so I just watched Into the Spider Verse every day. It was getting pretty intense, but
Yeah, no, when Spider-Verse came out, I said that was the best Spider-Man movie because it was
oh
just
yeah, hands
to me that
down.
was like everything I wanted in a Spider-Man movie. Like good action, good character development, great music, and of course, the animation is top tier. Like I couldn't when before this movie came out, I was like, I don't know how they can even top the animation they already did in the first movie, but they somehow found a way to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. I'm just curious how much freaking money this movie costs. Like it, the amount of different things that they use. Also, I guess we should clarify. This is probably going to be spoiler talk, so
Yeah,
um, beware if you have not seen the film. But
yeah, it's
no,
been out for a bit. But
yeah, I think it is just spectacular. I mean, I think it came out in 2018. I like only got into Spider-Man in like 2017 when Homecoming came out, so it was like a year after my hype level was through the roof, and it just blew me away. But yeah, I think honestly, yeah, I can't think of another film that was like my more anticipated film than this of this year. And I saw it opening night. Were you able to see it opening night? I can't remember.
honestly, I don't know if I saw it opening night. I rarely see movies when they first come out, unless I know I'm gonna be like spoiled on some Marvel stuff. But
Yeah.
like, I feel like I always ask you this, but like, did you know anything about Miles, the character, like prior to seeing the movie? Like Miles
So
Morales.
my only thing, so I'd only been in the Spider-Man alone for like a year at that point,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you know. I know specifically the only thing I knew about Miles is that he was based off Donald Glover from the Community episode, and there's a YouTuber named I believe Godzilla Mendoza, and he does a bunch of Spider-Man stuff. And the only thing I watched a video about Miles that he made, he said Miles is just like a boring Peter Parker, and that the trailers of Into the Spider-Verse kind of made him look more his own person rather than a copy of Peter. But I don't know how true that is. I mean, have you had any experience with Miles before that?
Well, so I read his comics. I actually have his first run, and I have like his first appearance. And like I was like hoping one day, I'm like, this character's gonna blow up one day. And like his original run is it is kind of boring. Like I reread it like a couple years ago, and I was like, this is kind of boring. He's definitely a character that's more interesting now, like outside of his original creator, because he was created by
Yeah,
Brian Michael Bendis, who has gotten like I don't want to say hate, but like unfavorable over the years. Like he's not as I would say he's not as good as he first started. But I think he was very influential, especially with Spider-Man. Like he made the Ultimate Spider-Man run, which a lot of Spider-Man media takes from, like Genki, and it's basically what Ned is in Spider-Man.
yeah,
Uh, and like uh, I guess Tom Holland Spider-Man is kind of almost basically Ultimate Spider-Man as well. So like he was very influential. I remember when Miles first came out, he had a lot of hate, like he kind of gets now because he was like the Black Spider-Man, and he was like replacing Peter, but it was just the alternate comic books. But yeah, like,
yeah.
but yeah, I definitely think he's way more interesting now with everything he's in, including the comics and the games and these movies. So
Yeah, I uh between the first movie and the second one, I played the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. I got like 80% of the way through. I didn't finish it, but I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty crazy that like Miles Morales got his own video game after
mhm.
everything that happened. Like, I don't know. It's just I think Miles is honestly at the point now, like when you say Miles Morales, you know it's Spider Man, just as you know if you were to say Peter Parker, it's Spider Man. Like I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's he's like he hasn't been around that long, like not compared to like obviously Spider-Man. Like so it is. I think what that was like. When did that happen? I'm trying to remember exactly when he was created. Like, but it hasn't been that long. Like maybe a
What's
decade
it
he's
like
been around.
2011 or something?
Yeah, like yeah, just a little over a decade. So it's like it's relatively new for comic standards. So it is pretty cool that he's kind of in the now, really, like in the known.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can start talking about the film. Have you only seen it once, or have you gone back at all to it?
No, I saw it twice. I was gonna see it a third time, but then like there's like 5 movies that came out in June, so I was like, I guess twice is enough.
Yeah, I saw it twice. It's got some stiff competition, but honestly, I think it's like from what I hear, I think it's still holding up. I know it's like the second best animated opening of all time or something like that. But
Yeah, right
yeah,
after Mario or whatever.
yeah. But no, I guess we can say I'll just ask you like, what's your opinion on the spot as like the new setup? Because this is a pretty like, at least in my world, I knew nothing about the spot before this movie.
I thought that was really cool because like I knew about the Spot. Like I've read some comic books with him. Like there's a Daredevil run that has him in it where he fights Daredevil for a bit. And like they like writers have already been like trying to do cool stuff with him because he has like a cool. I think he has a cool character design. He has a cool powers. Like those are really unique powers. So I thought when I heard he
Yeah,
was going to be in this, I was like, okay, that's interesting. What does that mean? So I think
because
I think he was pretty well done, and I can't wait to see where they go with him. Like he's another obscure character that like people are going to know what's the deal with him now. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in future video games.
yeah, I think he
Yeah.
would. I can honestly see it's kind of a weird tangent, but like with Spider-Man 1, the video game, like just normal power, Spider-Man 2, they got Venom in there, and then after that, I'm like, how do you up Venom gameplay wise? And I think having either something Mysterio where like the whole entire world is just completely different, or something like the Spot where you're maybe traversing through different worlds. But uh, I think
I mean, it's,
I think character design is really cool. I agree
mm,
with that, and because going from like, I mean, the first movie had Kingpin as the main villain, but also had the ultimate versions of Green Goblin, uh, what
Scorpion,
Scorpion,
Tombstone.
Tombstone,
Oh yeah,
and
Doc Ock.
yeah, Doc Ock, and the freaking Prowler,
Oh
one of
yeah,
the
right.
main
I
guys.
forgot he was.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean that's a lot of villains, but that's a lot of like villains that people genuinely or generally know. At least like the not a normal version, but like the movie versions, I guess, of. And so you go from that, especially Kingpin as like the main villain. I mean, that's a pretty well known character, I think, especially because of the Daredevil TV show. And then you go from that to Spot, which is pretty obscure. I think that's kind of a risk that they took, but I think it really paid off. I mean, honestly, since like I'm just saying, I'm speaking for like the general audience. I may not know that much about Spider-Man. Like, since we don't know anything about him, you can really kind of do whatever you want with him. And I think it was a really smart move with that.
Yeah, I mean, I've I think it's really I think it's always odd when there's like you have these characters who've been around for 50, 60 years, but we always default to like let's do Green Goblin again, or like even with Batman, it's like let's do Joker again. It's like there's so many villains in obscure comics that you can almost really do whatever you want. Like like you said, that you can do whatever you want with them, but they always default to the same like three characters. And it's kind of yeah, that's kind of annoying. Like with like the recent Flash movie, like they did the Flashpoint storyline, and I'm like, there's so many Flash stories you can pull from, but they always do the most famous one.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it yet, so I'll see how it goes. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no spoilers for that. But it's like that's the Flash movie. Like that's a famous storyline by the Flash. But I'm like, the character's been around for decades. Like you could have done anything, but you did the most popular one.
yeah, especially as like the initial movie. But um, yeah, I guess other than the Spot, what's your opinion on Miguel? I guess he's kind of
He's
the second villain.
yeah. Well, like he's not the villain, but he's like the main antagonist of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was really interesting. Like I love his redesign in this. He's a very interesting character that I hope they explore more. And I mean, not that they didn't explore him in this one, because this whole thing, he's almost I don't want to say hypocrite, but he has this weird obsession. I saw an interview where like the writers he's pretty much represents like the comic book fans that like kind of don't want to accept change. Like he's
Yeah,
kind of stuck in like you have to be the X, Y, and Z to be Spider-Man. But then Miles represents like the new writers, and it's like no, you don't have to do this and that to be Spider-Man. And I think that's very interesting. Like and like I the whole not to jump ahead, but the whole idea of canon is like this always happens with Spider-Man. This person dies, and these people have to die for Spider-Man to be who he is. And I'm like, that's so interesting to me. But also, it's like I love how the movie's like, nah, it doesn't have to be like that though.
yeah.
Like
It's really creative and like kind of shocking. Like, holy crap, this is like a full budgeted Spider-Man movie.
well, it
Um,
also reminds me of like it was stuttering, but it begs the question like,
yeah,
does a hero need to be like tragic to be a hero? And it
yeah,
reminds me of like uh this Daredevil run by Mark Wade, the writer, He made like Daredevil is like a well-known like tragic hero. Like he always has people dying around him. But in Mark Waid's run, he made him a lot more happy, and he was a lot more happy character. And I remember at the time, a lot of people didn't like that. And I'm like, why does a hero always have to be sad? like, like being
Just
a hero should
complete
be
depressed.
fun.
Yeah, I know a lot of people think Tom Holland's Spider-Man is getting beat up a lot, just losing people and people. But I don't know. I mean, with New Trilogy, maybe a turning point. But I had saw a video. I could not tell you who did it, but it is like completely jumped to the very end of the movie almost. But how Miguel gets Ben Riley and Jessica Drew. Is it Jessica Drew or Andrew? I can never remember.
I think it's Jessica Drew.
Yeah, get Jessica Drew and whoever made the video. They were saying that the three of them are the ones that didn't have like the standard canon events, like because
I
Ben
think I saw
Riley
the
just
same video
clone.
you did.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting. I'm sure that they're going to play on that fact that like
Yeah,
oh
I
you
was
three
thinking
don't
the
have a
same.
canon event.
I was thinking the same thing before I saw that video because technically, like, I mean, you see throughout the movie, like Miguel's not your typical Spider-Man. I think even Miles says that. Like, are you sure you're Spider-Man? Like, he has fangs, he has claws. He can't, like, he doesn't even shoot webs. He has like these like nanotech webs or whatever he was shooting,
Yeah,
and like I don't think he was bitten by a spider. Like he was like you see him like eject himself or something. So he's not. I feel like a lot of Miguel is like projecting. Like he knows he's not a typical Spider-Man, and he also has already failed to save his world or another world. So he's projecting a lot on Miles throughout
yeah.
the
I think
movie.
it's pretty crazy that I mean, so Miguel says that Miles is the original canon event, or not canon event.
Not anomaly.
Yeah, anomaly, and I think that's so crazy. I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting that out of the entire, like every single Spider-Man that we see in the entire movie, that there's not a single variant of Miles except for the one at the very end where
Yeah.
he isn't, and like that one was supposed to get, or I guess they don't really confirm he was supposed to get bitten, but someone in his world was going to be bitten, and
Well, you do see a scene where, like, when Spot is explaining his backstory, like he says, like he created Miles. Like you do see, like, for like like one or two frames, you do see that world, and you see that spider that he took, and it does look like it's going after that version of Miles.
oh, is it when he's sitting at the desk or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're right. I did think it was interesting that there's no version of Miles. I think they did that on purpose to make you like sort of agree with Miguel because I'm like, there wasn't another version of Miles there, and I was like, that's weird.
yeah, uh, I I really love. I mean, we can just jump around. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I love that the other Miles is the Prowler, and that
Mhm.
I mean he is like literally just the antithesis of Miles. Like, what if his uncle Aaron was the one that was raising him? And I mean, I don't know, like maybe Miguel might see that and be like, if he didn't become Spider-Man, his world could become this. And like, is that worth saving? Because technically, Miles is preventing his entire universe from becoming the other Miguel's universe. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I love. They really blew my mind with this whole entire story. It's insane to me.
Yeah. Well, did you rewatch? I know we said like we watched these movies multiple times, but did you like rewatch it like right before this movie, the first movie?
I watched it like 2 months ago. Um, I've also probably seen enough that I was like at the point where, as the movie was going, I could just speak word for word of what was going to happen in the movie. Every ounce of
Yeah,
dialogue, but
I mean, just like seeing those connections to the first movie, I'm like, I, it probably wasn't, but it makes me think like this was always like a planned trilogy, or at least they tried to make it seem like it, because like the color throughout the movie, like the purple and green, which is the Prowler's colors. I'm just like, wow, they set like all of this up.
Yeah, I I I don't even know. I'm honestly really surprised that they wanted to only do three, but I mean I get it because like these aren't like Shrek movies. They're like big, deep stories, and when they say beyond, I mean I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the beyond means that Miles will jump into live action or something,
Oh,
and
you think
then
Beyond means like more movies after?
I just like I don't know if they would do the thing where you have the three animated movies and then the third one like ends when Miles becomes like we start following a live action Miles and either continuing his storyline in live action to where he can join like I don't know the MCU if they choose to do that or not. I don't know, like is that worth it? Like if they were to do a live action Miles, you have all this character development and everything that's already happened, like so you don't need to start fresh, but I mean also like the animation is such a unique part of this film that's like would I if we do future live action Miles stories, I just kind of rather it be animated.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't think we have enough trilogies because I feel like it always just seems like no, we got to keep making more and more. Like I was like, it doesn't seem like trilogies are even a thing at this point.
Yeah, I mean even in the MCU, each person will get three, I guess, except for Thor. But I mean, other than that, you're like in every other movie, which I mean is like the fun of the MCU. But I got a random question: if we were to get a live action Miles, who would you? Do you have anybody like you would want it to be? Would you want it to be Shamik Moore?
Yeah, I know he's said that. Like I don't I don't know. Like I'm terrible with casting. Like I don't even know who you would do. Because the question is like because Tom Holland is I don't know how old is Spider-Man supposed to be in the movies? Because Tom Holland is like 28 or 27.
You know, I really don't know. I know at the end of No Way Home, I mean, he was just getting into college, so maybe like 19. I'm sure by the time we pick up with him, he'll probably be like 20, 21,
Yeah.
maybe
So
22.
like, I mean, the question is like, do you have a Miles that's the same age as Peter or younger than Peter? Because it's like,
Yeah, I know
if
there's a
they're
bunch
like,
of theories, just like, or sorry, continue.
well, I was just saying like, because I think it'd be interesting to have them like kind of the same age. Because like the games already are doing like, and the comics do this too, where like Peter's a mentor to Miles, but this Peter's not, I mean, he's been Spider-Man for a while now, but he's also kind of young still. So it'd be kind of interesting if they were like the same age and be like kind of like a brother like relationship.
Yeah, I know a lot of people really like, Miles could be Peter's new roommate for money if they're the same age, or if he's younger, he could just live in the same building as him or something. But
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I I personally like if we were to do live action Miles, I would actually love it to be Shamik Moore. I mean, I think Shamik might be a little bit older than Tom, but I mean he still looks pretty young. I got like 2 weekends ago, I got to meet Shamik Moore because there was a fan expo in Dallas, and
Nice.
uh, I got him to sign my Miles Funko and everything. And I mean, the guy looks like he could pull it. I mean, right now he has like a beard, and I know he said like if you guys can't see Miles, so let me lose some weight and do it. And I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie Dope that Shamik Moore's in?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, like if we go back to him looking like that, I mean, I could see that version of him playing Miles. I mean, even now, like,
I mean, I was
and
gonna say like right now he looks more like the Prowler than he does Miles.
really,
Yeah, I mean he's got the braids right now, I think, doesn't he?
yeah, I, a weird thing, I love Donald Glover, and I think at a certain time, like maybe he would have been cool, Miles, but I don't know. He just like I know he's in the movie as the Prowler, but he just doesn't look very menacing. And I know like he's not fully supposed to be, but like if we look at the animated version of him and then the live action version, like I don't know, Donald Glover just doesn't look or feel like the Prowler to me.
Yeah, he's too cool to be like a
Yeah,
villain. Like his
and
voice is too like soft.
yeah, I think it's his voice,
Yeah. It's
which
funny. I
I
don't
don't
know if
know. I
you watch
mean,
I don't know if you watch Atlanta, his TV show.
no, I've seen footage of it. I haven't like sat down and watched it.
There's a whole episode where like Donald Glover, he's like his whole thing is like I'm just not intimidating, man. Like I'm not intimidating like you. So it's like, it's kind of funny like him being a villain. I'm like, yeah, you're not intimidating at all, Donald Glover.
Yeah, and I don't even know how tall he is in real life. I wouldn't think he was taller than like 5'7", 5'8". I may be completely wrong. The guy might be like 6'2", but I don't know. I guess the animated version, he's tall, he's menacing, and he's intimidating. But whatever they choose to do, I mean, whatever. Oh, it's Spider-Man. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the easy thing to do would be to bring in Miles, but I feel like at this point, after these movies, I feel like you should probably take a break from doing that character in live action. Because I feel
Yeah,
like at this, especially with the last live action Spider-Man movie, like we finally got like Peter like on his own. So to give him like Miles, I feel like would take away from him in some regards.
yeah. I think if anything, like maybe just set him up as like a friend in
Yeah.
one movie or two, and then go from there. But yeah, so I guess I think a big part of the entire movie is that along with Miles, like Gwen gets a whole lot to do in the entire movie, and I
Yeah.
I said this in my kind of review of it. Like I think Gwen like took the position of Peter B. Parker of what he had in the first movie, not like the mentor role, but like the larger role of the film. And
Yeah. I mean,
I
the
I,
movie
I
starts
love
off
Gwen
with her.
too. Yeah, and I mean honestly, we don't see Miles for quite a little bit. I mean the
20
not the
minutes maybe.
epilogue. Yeah, I mean it's a long intro until we get the title card and then we finally see Miles again. But I mean I was enjoying it. I mean she's another character I'm sure since you read a lot more comics that you know a lot more about her comic from, but I mean I just knew that like her Peter turned into the lizard from the first movie and I mean I thought that was kind of going to be it for her character, like that quick little thing. But I love that they expanded upon it in this movie. Like, I mean, you get a lot.
But just it shows like how similar like I thought it was interesting because it just shows how close and similar like Peter B. Parker and Gwen Stacy and Miles are. Like they've all, especially Gwen and Miles, and it's like they've been through crappy situations, and I think that's what their friendship is really like. That version of Gwen Stacy, like Spider Gwen, like that's like she's kind of relatively new too, because like Spider Verse, the comic, I think came out in like 2015. So like her whole thing is her being a Spider Woman is kind of a whole new thing as well. So
Yeah, I, I don't know. I know, or I may be wrong about this. I keep thinking that there's another version of Gwen as well, because I know like she mentioned that thing. It's like in every world, like Peter and Gwen, and then something bad happens to Gwen. I think she's like the only Gwen that we see in the entire movie. Because even like Peter B. Parker, like he's with MJ, and
yeah.
I think that Miles and Gwen have that kind of connection. That like, oh, we're kind of the only variants of us that got
Well,
this thing.
I mean that kind of goes to like the hypocrite nature of like Miguel, because like he's saying like, oh, Ben, because like Uncle Ben always dies, or like Captain Stacy always dies, but it's like, well, usually Gwen usually dies in most Spider-Man things, but like this Gwen is Spider-Woman, so like it's not always the same.
Yeah, man, they're really thinking of everything in this movie. Honestly, I really think they're screwing themselves for like future live action Spider-Man movies because I mean Tom just had Andrew and Toby. Now I think that's like the peak of like what we're gonna get. And now you
Yeah.
got these movies. And I'm like, God, these are so good. And
Yeah. Yeah, most people don't see these movies.
yeah, I guess then I mean when we pick up with Peter B. Parker, he has a kid, which is pretty funny and really cute. I actually probably like one of my favorite scenes is when Peter B. Parker tells Miles like the reason I had kids because of you, and
Yeah.
I man, I just eat that crap up. It is so good.
Yeah, that was really funny seeing him in this. He's Jake Johnson, I think that's his name. He's a
Yeah,
funny guy.
I was like, you wouldn't expect him to be a good Peter Parker, but I think the way that they're going, I mean, he's still Peter Parker. He's just Jake Johnson.
Yeah. Honestly, like if anyone could be live action, I would rather have a live action Jake Johnson as Spider-Man because I just think that'd be
Yeah,
hilarious.
I mean, it would be a completely different kind of vibe, but I think people would really love that.
Yeah.
But other than
And
that, we
I mean
got
the
the
funniest
introduction. Or sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say I think the funniest scene is like where he's like talking to Miguel and he's like, "You're supposed to be funny. Spider-Man's supposed to be funny."
Yeah, he's even slapping him in the face with um the hypocrisy. Sorry, I got an Invisalign the other day, and it is like so hard for me to pronunciate right now. So
No worries.
forgive
I
my
usually stutter all the time anyway.
nah. We're both. Well, excuse me. Sorry. It is when I start talking. Like I usually keep my mouth like pretty closed. Like I mumble a lot, and so my voice doesn't come out. So it's just
Mhm.
it's hard for me to talk. But off the main topic. What are your opinions on the new Spider people? We got Spider Punk, Spider Man India, Spider Bite, Jessica Drew. I mean, we got a lot of new ones.
Yeah, at first I mean we'll see him in the next one, but at first I was first disappointed because I was like, I missed the other Spider team, like no Nicolas Cage and Spider Pig and whatnot. But I thought, yeah, the versions of the ones we got, like, I mean, Hobie Brown, that's Spider Punk. He's like the fan favorite right now, I think. Like
Yeah,
all his scenes were awesome. And Spider-Man India, like I follow this one, I follow this one guy on Twitter who's very happy that he was represented in this movie. Like, I didn't. It's crazy that's the voice. I don't know if you watched the Deadpool movies.
yeah, the cab driver guy.
Yeah, so that was surprising seeing him. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was his voice.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty cool.
I mean, Jessica Drew, I wonder how she'll play in the next one. Like, if she'll be an antagonist still, or if she'll join the team at all.
I think
But
I don't know if like they're gonna play on anything because she's pregnant. Like I don't know if like something's gonna happen. Like maybe like she gives birth to her child and maybe she has like a 180 of like man like what if like this child lost because I know she had that one off line like how much she loves her husband. Like what if this child's canon event is losing her the child's dad. And I mean I'm pretty
yeah,
sure like they set the groundwork. Like I'm pretty sure Jessica is gonna switch to Miles' side, but how they do that, I mean I think it could be several different ways. But
yeah, it would be.
uh
It is interesting. Like, well, one thing I really liked, kind of like getting into the animation is like I like how every Spider-Man, like there's so many Spider-Man in this, but they all fight very different from one another. Like it's not confusing at all.
yeah
Like like
it
Jessica fights on her motorcycle. You have Hobie with his guitar, like, Miguel and Miles has electricity. Like everyone has their own fighting style.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even with Miles' like powers, the electricity, invisibility, I mean, he's pretty stacked up. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, I mean, did Miles really just outrun every single Spider-Man, especially Miguel? But I mean, with the powers he has, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, I know he has a line like, "I beat them all. Like, I did it," and I don't know. I
I
think it's
think
cool, but
I listened to this other podcast where like the reason he was able to do that is because they literally never fought anyone like him. Like his powers are so different from everyone else because like no one else can turn invisible or has literally like electricity powers. Like his powers are so different from everyone else that they just didn't know how to fight him.
yeah. I So this is kind of a weird thing. To go back to Spider-Man India, I'm sure that maybe they will because I think he shows up in like the end group like, oh, we're with Miles. Um, but they never like because the reason Miles kind of really screwed up is because he saved Spider-Man India's Captain Stacy. I do not remember the names of any of the versions of them, but I kind of wish that we did get to see Spider-Man India's reaction to that. Like, holy crap, thank you. Like, I'm gonna help you, but he's just kind of gone after that in the entire
Yeah,
movie. So it's a little bit of downfall. I'm sure like they're gonna pick up on it, and but I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just confusing myself, but like, uh, it, so I don't know. This might be really confusing, and it's going to confuse myself to explain. But so essentially, the spot created Miles, which wasn't supposed to happen,
hmm
and so that's already all screwed up. But then the spot also caused the reason that Spider-Man India's Captain Stacy was going to die, and so is that like technically his Captain Stacy wasn't supposed to die because the spot wasn't even supposed to be there? Like, I don't know if I'm just confusing
I
myself
don't know if
or
that's what. That's a good question because he did cause that to happen. Well, that goes back to what goes back to what you're saying. Like Miguel's kind of a hypocrite. Like none of this is because of Miles. It's like
yeah,
it doesn't really make sense. I think that's why I think the next one we're gonna get like a like Spider-Man Civil War because we have like Team Miles and then there's Team Miguel. So I think we're gonna have like there's gonna be like three big fights in this movie, and it's gonna be like Miles versus the Prowler, which is his version of himself, and then it's gonna be like Team Spider-Man versus Team Spider-Man, and then the final battle is gonna be taken on Spot.
yeah.
So the next movie is gonna be probably 3 hours or something.
Man, I'm down for it. I love how long this thing was. I mean, kind of disappointed that it was a cliffhanger, but I mean, for what we got, it was really fun. I was I
Yeah,
was invested in it.
that's the big like discourse is like a lot of people kind of don't like this movie because it is a cliffhanger. But
Yeah, no, I saw it with my sister, and she immediately was just like, "Is that it? Like, there's seriously nothing more?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's it." And we gotta wait a year, assuming that they even meet that, because I know like Haley Steinfeld said that she hasn't even recorded anything for the new movie. I'm like, oh great,
but is
there's
she
no way they're
lying though?
making. I thought that too. I was like, because if she say she had to record Across the Spider Verse and Beyond, like would she get kind of confused? So maybe like sometimes like it kind of blurs, like oh like does this happen in this movie or that one? So like are they just telling her like just don't even say you've done anything for it?
Because I would think if they knew they were ending it on a cliffhanger, I would assume they filmed these or worked on these back to back.
I mean, they gotta know like if you're in on a cliffhanger and you having like if you're not that far, like people are probably gonna get pretty mad if we gotta wait like 3 years for the sequel.
Yeah. Because I was like, is she lying though? Because I reminded of like Andrew Garfield and like how he was lying about being in No Way Home.
Yeah, the werewolf. But
but who knows?
uh, other than that, I'll be completely honest. I don't really like Spider Bite. Like she just, I don't know. Out of every spider person we could have chose, she's like one of them I would not have. She's very unique. It's a very cool idea, but I don't know. It just, I don't know. What do you feel about her?
I mean, we don't really get much of her. Like, I do kind of agree with you, because especially like I doubt we'll get any more backstory on her in the third one, because there probably won't be enough time. But um, I think she was just it's a weird thing to say, but like I think she's interesting inclusion, because she is like the other Black Spider-Man, like with Hopi Brown, that helps out Miles in the end.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that's, but also Jessica Drew's Black and she's against Miles, so I mean that's not the reason they did that. But
I mean, I
like
know that I guess they need like a tech person to like be in that area, and so she kind of worked. But
I'm
I don't
interested to
know.
see how she can fight, because I don't really understand how could she be useful in a fight.
Yeah, this is just like a video game. I don't know. I mean, I had never even heard of Spider Man before this movie. She is like a Penny Parker for me. Like, never heard of her before the original movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because like she's like, her Spider-Man is just an avatar, so like what's her tragedy that made her like it's like who is she protecting? I don't know. We'll see. I doubt she'll be like a fan favorite at all. But
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't care for her either.
I know. My girlfriend really liked her. My girlfriend actually said that she likes Spider Man more than Gwen. She thinks Gwen is pretty boring, and I'm like, are you seriously? Like, we get so much more with Gwen.
The main character of the movie.
Yeah, but she's like, I think Gwen's kind of boring. But I was like, oh my gosh, whatever. People are entitled to their own opinion.
I mean, really, like, there's so many spider people in this movie. Like, you can have a favorite. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I I guess the thing I freaked out the most about when he appeared was the spectacular Spider-Man, because
Yeah, that caught me off guard.
I know he was in the poster, and I was like, are they just doing this just for a little bit of fan service? But he actually got like a speaking line and everything. Like, holy cow!
Yeah. Did you think he looked weird? Because I know a lot of
I
people
think
don't like the way he looked.
it's like they're taking a 2D character and making him 3D, but trying to make him still look 2D. I think
Mhm.
also like I guess compared to everybody else, he's like super short and stocky. So
Yeah.
like I think he definitely stands out, but I don't know, like either way, I'm still just excited to see him. I kind of wish he got a little bit more, but I get like okay, like he's just a quick little thing for the fans.
Yeah. If
I
I
honestly,
almost, I kind of almost didn't like it because it felt a little too fan service. See, it's because it was such a serious scene that was going on with like Miles being like interrogated by Miguel, and then it's like, oh, look at this fan cameo right here. But it was,
yeah.
yeah, it was good to see him.
I mean, I kind of agree with that because like I mean the line he says it's like supposed to mean something. Like it's in that drama filled scene, and so Miles hasn't talked to Spectacular Spider-Man like this is just a random Spider-Man to him. Like it's not like
Yeah,
if the line probably would have felt more if it came from like I don't know, like Spider-Man
anybody else.
Noir or something.
Yeah,
But
I mean, especially like if you're not a fan of like, I mean, this had something for everybody, I guess, because like the video game Spider-Man was there too. But it's like if you're not a fan of Spectacular Spider-Man, that kind of comes out of nowhere.
yeah, just a really weird looking Spider-Man just kind of says this one line.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think the standout new Spider-Man definitely is Hobie. I think Daniel Kaluuya, man, I love his performance in this. I didn't when they announced that he was gonna be Spider-Punk, I was like, really? Like I don't really see it, but he kills it in this for me.
Which is like I like we got some top tier voice acting, but I feel like they actually are all trying. Like usually in animated movies, like not saying anyone was really really bad in the Mario movies, but it's like you're not gonna tell like Chris Pratt how to voice act. He's just gonna do his thing, you know. But like it
Yeah,
seems like this, like everyone was like, all right, you gotta do this. You gotta like. It seems like everyone was working together to give their best performances. Where like usually in animated movies where they get like celebrities, it's always just like, yeah, just do whatever.
yeah. I never even get why they do that. Like I get like you have to have someone market the film, but like typically the animated films are geared towards kids movies, so I'm like, who
Yeah,
cares? Like we could get actual voice actors to do this,
yeah.
but
Well, like
I know
they're
like
making
especially with this, like this PG-13, but
they're making I don't know if you how you feel about Transformers, but like they're making another animated Transformers movie, and they're supposed to have like Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime, and I'm like,
yeah, I heard that.
you already have Optimus Prime. Why are you getting Chris Hemsworth?
Like Optimus Prime probably has like top 10 most unique voice, like most well known, like this guy's Optimus Prime.
Yeah, like at
And
this point, people know what Optimus Prime sounds like, so to get Chris Hemsworth just seems like a weird decision.
yeah, it's definitely just for the name recognition. I'm like, I don't know, like I don't really care if it's Chris Hemsworth or not.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I would rather just have the original guy. Like I feel like that would just make a better movie.
Yeah, well, like like especially in an animated movie, like you're supposed to not think of who's the voice is, you
Yeah,
know?
that's a good point. Like with the Mario movie, like I just hear Chris Pratt, man. Like he's done so many voice stuff and he's done so many different
Yeah.
characters. But um yeah, I guess do you have a favorite scene out of the entire movie?
Um, I mean, the easy pick is like you know when Miles is fighting Miguel on the train, he says the trailer line. He's like everyone keeps telling me how my story's supposed to go, and he's like I'm gonna do my thing. Like that's but like my go to is probably before that. It's like when he's trapped inside the shield and he and then like Hobie helps him break out. Like I've that's my favorite moment probably. Those two favorite
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah, the nah, I'm gonna do my own thing scene is I think that's already super iconic. So,
Yeah.
um sorry, my aunt was knocking on my door. Um but when I met Shamik, people were bringing him Jordans and everything to sign, and he was putting "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing" on it. Like it's already like super freaking popular and synonymous with Miles now.
Well, also I like how they like right before he says that he does the what's up danger like jumping off the roof kind of combo he does.
Yeah,
Like I was like, "Oh, cool, they brought that back."
it's almost like they gave him a catchphrase. Like one time ago, superheroes always had catchphrases, and like not like he's gonna say it all the
Yeah.
time, but like it's like his with great power comes with great responsibility. Like
Yeah.
he still has that value, but in like his own version of it. Um, but yeah, I think other than that, I mean, the animation's crazy. Did you hear that the Lego scene was done by like a kid, like some
Yeah, it's
teenager?
like a 12-year-old or 15-year-old kid.
Yeah,
That is-
man, imagine being
I've,
that kid.
yeah, I've seen like even before I knew about that, like I saw that kid's like YouTube channel and like saw his like stuff that he did. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. So when I heard he was in like doing stuff in the movie, I was like, wow, okay, that's crazy.
Yeah. Um, yeah, other than that, so like just because I know this movie's long, like there's so many things we can talk about, but I guess which movie do you prefer? Like, do you think the first one's a bit better or this one?
I mean, I thought about it. It's like to me, this felt like I don't know if you watched Back to the Future.
I freaking run a movie channel and I've never seen Back to the Future. Like, it's the most bizarre thing.
Well, this Back to the Future is kind of the same thing, where it's like Back to the Future One is like a good standalone movie that at the time they weren't planning on making sequels to, and that's what it felt like with this. Like Into the Spider-Verse is a good standalone movie, whereas this is like I I feel like I enjoyed this one better because like the animation was crazy and like I feel like we got to know Hobie Brown and like more than we knew like Penny Parker in the first movie, like
Yeah.
and our Spider-Man of India. Like like Miles, like when Miles said he missed his friends, I didn't feel like he was friends with Nicolas Cage Spider-Man, you know. But like it felt
Yeah.
like he became friends with Hobie Brown and Spider-Man of India. So like
No, that's a
I don't
really
care
good
that this
point.
ended. I don't really care that this ended on a cliffhanger. Like to me, this felt like a better movie in my opinion.
Yeah. It's hard for me. I think I still have to pick the first one above it just because I think the one thing I will say about the first one compared to this is that I think the first one is funnier, but I don't think this one was necessarily trying to be super funny because there's a lot of serious moments. I think story wise, this like turned Spider Man on its head, and so story wise, I think I got to give it to this one. But just overall, like which one I'd rather rewatch, I got to pick the first one. Like I think it's just the fact that I've just seen it so many times, and it just holds so much to me. And also, like I'm just a sucker for Peter B. Parker, so the more I get of him, like I'm just gonna love it.
I think I just the animation just being so much better than the first one just makes to me it just makes this movie better. Like there's so many scenes, and like the first one had this too, but there's so many scenes where like, dang, that's a wallpaper right there. That's a wallpaper.
Yeah,
Like I think they're releasing the art book soon. And like I don't usually get art books for movies, but I'm like I'm about to get the art book for this.
I was at Barnes and Nobles the other day, and I saw the first one, and I think it was ginormous. It was thick,
Yeah.
but
Well, like I don't know if you heard about this. I think this just like came out, but like you hear like they didn't the animators didn't get treated super well during the making of this.
did they? I didn't know that. I knew that they had like over 1,000 or something on this, but
Yeah. Well, apparently they worked like 7 days a week and they were like 12, 13-hour shifts and
man,
yeah.
I imagine, especially if they like, it's true that the second or the third film is coming out next year. Like that means that they would have had to make like essentially
Stop it
like
like
6 hours of content in like 5 years. Like,
yeah. Well, they there's constantly like behind this they constantly say like one scene took like 4 months just to do and stuff
yeah,
like that.
the the one with Miles running through everybody. Oh no, that one took like 5 years. I can't
Yeah, I mean
remember,
like
but
it doesn't surprise me. It's like if they that's what if they did make these back to back, like it doesn't surprise me that it took this long.
yeah. Um, overall, yeah. I mean, I, it's just a hard thing, and I'm planning on making a Spider-Man movie ranking, and where I put Across the Spider-Verse so far, like I'm just like so nervous because if people watch it, I just know it's like, are you for real? 'Cause don't get me wrong, I really like this movie, but I think where I have it in the overall Spider-Man rankings, or like even like the live action movies, like I don't know. I know in the marketing they kept putting like this is the greatest comic book movie of all time, and I think it definitely is like a phenomenal thing that like deserves to be seen and loved. But I don't know. Maybe it's a part of me. It's like it's a cliffhanger. I don't know. Maybe after seeing Beyond, like this movie will get even better for me.
Mhm.
But I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I didn't make a review on it because like I kind of wanted to wait because I like spoilers for the movie, so I was kind of waiting for the movie to be out for a bit. But
Yeah.
man, if you make another video, I'll be interested to see how you rank these.
But I mean, other than that, is there anything else you want to say about it?
The only thing I wanted to say, I feel like we have to talk about like the music, like and like not just like the soundtrack, but like the score, like the background music, like super good in this.
Yeah, it I love because like the thing with I think with a lot of Marvel movies is that a character might get a theme, and
It's
I could
forgettable.
not tell you any of them. Like it's
Yeah,
very few. But with all of these, like every character, I'm immediately like, oh, that's the Prowlers, that's Miguel's, that's Miles, that's Gwen's. Like
yeah,
they did uh, amazing with this.
yeah. And, like
I,
I try to. I've been doing a thing where like if it's available, I'll usually listen to like the soundtrack before the movie comes out. And like hearing Gwen's theme, I was like, "Whoa, this is a really good theme." Like the drums are going crazy, and then
yeah,
hearing it in the movie, like with the speakers of the movie, I'm like, "Oh my god, this song is crazy."
yeah, it is. It slaps, man. It.
Mm.
I don't know who I could choose. Even I know like there's a lot of debate online like whose theme is better, but I think I don't know. It's so freaking hard. Like they're all so good. I think if I had to choose, I think my favorite probably is still Prowlers, just because I love the synths that they use on it. But if you had to choose, which one would you choose?
I mean, I really like Gwen's theme because they also like mix it with others. Because there's I forget what the name of the track, but it's like when Vulture shows up in the beginning, like they kind of mix hers and his together. Because it
Yeah,
starts off playing like his, and then it goes right into hers because she starts beating him up. And like just the drums that play on hers, I'm like, oh, her theme's really good.
yeah, it's really fun. I guess soundtrack wise, I don't know. Like I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I think I like the first ones a little bit more, just because I felt they were a little bit more different. I don't know, because each track on here is by Metro Boomin, and
Hmm.
could not. I don't know anything about him, but I mean,
I think it fits. It's a soundtrack that like it's fun while you're watching the movie, but you're not gonna like, oh, let me listen to this right now. You know?
yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, I think especially in the first one, like, I guess each scene. Maybe it's just because I've seen that movie so many times, but like I know each song, like in Invincible and like What's Up Danger and Home, like I remember them after I watched it. And after this one, like besides for like really the end credit song, I could not tell you each song goes to which scene.
Yeah. I feel that.
I wonder if like I wonder what they're gonna do for the third one. Like, are they gonna keep Metro Boomin going, or I don't know. I'm curious to
Yeah.
see what
I
they do
think
because
I think they'll switch it up.
I
They should
know
get
like
child. They should get Childish Gambino to do the soundtrack.
I was actually thinking like I'm surprised they didn't get him to do something for this. Like I don't know if he's still doing that or not, but I mean I think his
Mm.
vibe could fit it pretty well.
Yeah. Especially when they had like Kendrick for like Black Panther. So it would be nice to have like Childish Gambino for like Spider-Man, especially when, like he's in the movie.
Yeah, I think it's like a dream thing, but if they did, I would love them to bring like Andre 3000 back, like just convince him to do something, and I would eat it up, man. I love Outkast if they did
Yeah,
something
I
with
thought there was
that.
like a rumor that he was doing an album again, but I think that's just like that might be fake.
I don't know. You might. I know he's been on a couple features and stuff, but I don't know. I don't listen to rap a whole lot, but like Andre 3000, like I listen to him all day.
Right. But yeah,
But
that's all I
oh
gotta say.
yeah, I will just add this one last thing. The Spider-Man India, like entrance into the world, freaking love that. All the sounds that they use, because I know there's a lot of memes like whenever, like the character in the film enters India, like there's the same like kind of sound they use, and it's like kind of like generic and a little offensive in a way. And I think this movie, like, they really took it and flipped it on its head, and I think that one's an earworm for me. I've listened to that one a lot too, but yeah, other than that, I don't have too much more to say.
All right.
Well, yeah, we gotta just into an hour, but thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to check out Infinite Repeat Nate's channel. I will leave the link in the description in the bio, but thank you for joining the Bayou 22 podcast. I've been the TheShoogyShoo.
You've been Infinite Repeat. Stay up.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to check out Nate's channel in the link in the bio, and also give a like and subscribe to him. He is phenomenal. Also, be sure to check out my latest show, Tuning In, where if you like to talk about cartoons, controversial opinions, and even anime, then why not check this out? But like and subscribe, TheShoogyShoo.